Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Welcome to Rogers Center in Toronto as the Yankees and Blue Jays will play Game 2 of this 3-game series. Joe Girardi's Yankees broke out last night against the Toronto bullpen. They scored 3 in the 8th and 4 in the 9th. They blew it wide open. Derek Jeter as the DH today leads things off. Nick Swisher's in right. Mark Teixeira. Robinson Cano over his last 10 games gone 16 for 40 with 3 doubles, a pair of home runs. He's driven in 10. He continues to be one of the premier players in all of baseball. Andrew Jones back in left field. Curtis Granderson returns to center. He was given the day off for most of the game last night. Nix, McGee, and Chris Stewart behind the plate.
Aaron Laffey will take his 3-2, 439 earned run average to the mound this afternoon to face the Yankees. He has won 3 of his last 4 decisions. He's also pitched 6 innings for the 5th time in his 8 starts this year. It's had a small sample against the Yankees in his career. He's made 3 appearances, and he's 0-1 versus big bats from the New York Yankees. Defensively for the Toronto Blue Jays, a couple of errors in yesterday's game really cost the Blue Jays a couple of runs, especially early. In the outfield, Davis, Gose, and Sierra. Danny Echeverria will get the start at third base. Escobar Johnson, David Cooper on the infield. Jan Gomes will get the start catching Aaron Laffey this afternoon. And no Colby Rasmus in center field, so Gose will move over from right field. He played there last night into center field. And Sierra, both of them possess very strong throwing arms.
The outfield for AAA Las Vegas getting a chance to start today against the New York Yankees. Derek Jeter will step in. We mentioned he's the DH this afternoon. Jeter, a .382 average in the first inning, including 4 leadoff homers.
And he's not afraid to be very aggressive on that first pitch.
The Yankees have scored 90 runs in the first inning. That's their best inning of the season. And it's the most first inning runs in the majors.
How about that? And they don't waste any time. We've said it numerous times about pitchers. You better be ready when you face the Yankees, and you better come with your best stuff. Well,
and they've got veteran players. You can see Kevin Long is surrounded by a couple of veterans, Nix and Andrew Jones. They've got veteran players that know how to get prepared for a ball game, and they come out swinging. Ball on the strike. Jeter takes one inside. 84 hits on the road this season. That's the most in the big leagues for Derek Jeter. There's 148 hits overall. That's first in the American League. Bounced foul.
He's also got to be loving this series against the Yankees, or versus the Blue Jays. For the Yankees, 3 left-handers in a row, and this year he has just worn out lefties.
Aaron Laffey, his first start against the Yankees since April of 2008 when he was with the Cleveland Indians. The cut fastball misses up and away. It's a full count. We saw this last night from the New York team. What they do is they make the pitcher work. They're not going to chase too many borderline pitches, so you better throw strikes and throw them early in the at-bats. Jeter strikes out. Looked like he went right back to the same pitch. That cutter up and away, and Jeter goes down on strikes.
Yeah, I think Derek Jeter knew that that ball was out of the strike zone, a little bit up. A little cut fastball that's up, and his reaction at the end of that, telling himself that that ball was up. You see that? Hey, that's up. Why am I swinging at it? But a good first out for Aaron Laffey.
Switch hitter Nick Swisher, batting right-handed. Swisher had a pair of hits in last night's game, scored 2 and drove in a run. When Laffey gets into trouble and gets away from that sinking fastball and the cutter, this goes to to the four-seam fastball. That seems to be a problem for him.
Being able to finish his pitches here in the first inning. He hasn't been able to bend over and get over that front side to get the ball down.
Danny Echeverria plays it off his body, recovers in time. Cooper with a nice job at first to keep his foot on the bag. Echeverria has tremendous instincts and reactions. He knocks this ball down and gets on it quickly.
Again, just his 6th start at third base. Keeps his body in front of it and then grabs it and fires it across the diamond. Watch the play by Cooper as he shuffles his feet. Aaron Laffey certainly loves that. You got to be able to have quick feet and read throws from the infielders. David Cooper does a good job there of shuffling his feet.
He went into foul ground and maintained contact with the bag. 2 outs. Mark Teixeira had a big blow in last night's game in the 8th inning. A leadoff home run on the first pitch he saw from Steve Delabar. That was the first of 3 runs the Yankees would score in the 8th. That's when they blew it wide open. Teixeira's home run made it a 4-2 ball game. Blue Jays behind Ricky Romero had kept the game well at hand until that 8th inning.
And then the experience and the Yankee bats come alive to get them 10 runs. 3-2 all the way into the 8th inning.
It's the 8th time this season the Yankees have scored 10 or more runs. A little bit of a mini hit streak for Mark Teixeira. On the ground, Echeverria. A little bit easier play this time, and Aaron Laffey has a good first inning. Retires the Yanks in order. Blue Jays scored 4 runs on 9 hits in the game last night, and they have really been challenged to score runs. Rajai Davis, Anthony, goes top of the order, got a good speed. They'd love to get on and set the table for Edwin Encarnacion. Yunel Escobar is the cleanup batter. David Cooper, over his last 9 games, has gone 10 for 31, 4 doubles, 2 home runs. Both those home runs came in the 9th inning. He has been a very good clutch hitter late in the ball game for the Blue Jays. Sierra, Johnson, Gomes, and Echeverria round out the Blue Jays lineup.
25-year-old Ivan Nova will make his 23rd start of the season. He struggled his last couple of times to the mound. He has lost both of those games. First time in his career that he has lost consecutive decisions as a starter. Ivan Nova 10-6 still, and a very good record. They are getting some runs for him. Defensively for the Yankees, just 2 errors over the last 16 games. Jones, Granderson, and Swisher in the outfield. It's a very good defensive team, the Yankees.
Rajai Davis pops it foul out of play. It's 0-2. The Yankees are they've committed the 3rd fewest errors in the major leagues behind Seattle and Washington. And that gets overlooked oftentimes because the Yankees are such a good offensive ball player. Davis goes after that pitch down and away and strikes out on 3 pitches.
You talked about the great hitting, but you're right. Your pitching staff is very underrated. They got a great bullpen. And a very good defensive team. A slider down and away, and Rajay Davis cannot lay off of it. That's where pitchers have been throwing to him lately, down and away with those breaking balls.
One out, Anthony Gose batting second this afternoon. It's a breaking ball strike. Gose was ninth in the order in last night's game, had a single and scored, and finished up 1 for 4. Gose batting .218 on the season. Back and forth on velocity, and he was out in front of that off-speed pitch.
Yeah, a lot of breaking balls to Anthony Gose, especially with 2 strikes. He's got to learn to lay off of those pitches outside the strike zone.
Ball under dirt. Chris Stewart's behind the plate for the Yankees. He's handling Ivan Nova today. Stewart's making his 35th start. Been a nice addition to this ball club. Giving Russell Martin some rest from time to time, but Stewart's done a good job behind the plate. With a breaking ball, another strikeout. Nova racks up 2 strikeouts, first 2 batters he's faced.
Both of them out of the strike zone. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Ivan Nova, brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Fastball, curveball, slider, change the basic repertoire for a starter. The problem that he has had over his last couple of starts has been wild in the strike zone. His slider is getting hit and his fastball has been getting hit. Today, through the first 2 batters, looks like he's got a pretty good curveball. The Blue Jays are going to have to lay off of it.
Edwin Encarnacion takes one up and away. Edwin, the DH this afternoon, batting .285 for the season, 29 homers. He's driven in 75 runs. This is hit high into the air. Curtis Granderson underneath makes the catch. Easy inning for Ivan Nova. Couple of strikeouts. We've played an inning at Rogers Center. It's scoreless. Replica Hat Day. It'll be the 3rd and final game of this 3-game series with the New York Yankees. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays replica hat. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com. Or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Big crowd on hand again this afternoon. Last night in the ball game at 41,610 here at Rogers Center. Robinson Cano, who finds second baseman in the New York Yankees. Cano last night 2 for 4 in the game. He was walked intentionally in the 9th inning. Drove in a run and scored a run. Aaron Laffey was the first pitch inside. Cano taking a look at the rookie playing third base. Hechavarria showed bunt. You rarely see Cano bunt.
Well, it didn't fool Hechavarria because he didn't move once that little decoy bunt by Cano stayed back there. Good hitters like Cano will try and draw in that third baseman and slash the ball right by him.
Broken bat. Hechavarria takes it over near shortstop and throws Cano out.
Good play by Hechavarria. He's made the last 3 plays at third base. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Aaron Laffey this afternoon. He's got the sinker and the slider / cutter, and I think those are going to be very important pitches for him this afternoon. A changeup also to keep the Yankee batters off balance. He had better command his last time out, did not allow a run over his final 3 innings pitched against the Oakland A's in his last start. He's going to have to continue that here this afternoon.
Andrew Jones gets another start in left field with the left-hander on the mound. Jones was 0 for 3 with a walk in the game last night. He's hit just .221 against lefty pitching, but he has 8 of his 12 home runs against lefties.
Chance to see Andrew Jones in all 3 of these games. Joe Girardi has said that he's going to be playing all 3 against these left-handers. He is looking for a pitch on the inner half early in the count, and he's trying to go deep.
And that's what he was there. He had that back leg swing. He was trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Andrew Jones made his big league debut with the Atlanta Braves in 1996. As he made a big splash in the postseason in the World Series against the New York Yankees. Home runs in each of his first 2 at-bats. Hit .400 for that series, went 8 for 20 against the Yankees as a 19-year-old.
Yeah, he was a teenager. I remember doing that World Series, being there, watching that, and I was amazed at the power that he had for such a young player.
Well, he came up on a good team with a lot of veterans around, certainly had a great manager. And he often talks about Bobby Cox saving his career because there were days when Andrew Jones would just kind of Cadillac through the game. And Coxie took him out of a game one day and it got Andrew's attention. Here's the 2-2. Anthony Gose has plenty of room, gets over in the gap and makes the catch. 2 outs. Aaron Laffey has retired 5 straight.
I remember that game you were talking about when Andrew Jones was taken out of the lineup. Managers have to do that sometime, and he got the message. He plays the game the right way.
This is his 16th big league season. Curtis Granderson back in the lineup after getting the off day. It's the 3rd day he has been given off. He came into the game late as a defensive replacement in the 8th inning. Laffey's doing a good job of getting ahead.
Getting ahead and keeping that ball down. That's what Ricky Romero did yesterday, his last couple of innings. Used his fastball a lot and kept the ball down. Retired the final 10 batters.
Ricky Romero has had 3 pretty good starts in a row where giving his team a chance to win, and that's all you can ask. He hasn't had much run support at all.
Yeah, that's been the problem. Hasn't had a lot of runs to work with, but sometimes for pitchers that'll keep them focused just a little bit longer, a little bit better.
Total of 8 runs scored for Ricky Romero in his last 9 starts. Caught him right in the back of the shoulder. Granderson appears to be okay. That ball slipped out of the hand of Aaron Laffey. That'll be the first Yankee to reach base.
was looking for a breaking ball, but he barely moved. He turned away from it a little bit. It looked like it got him in that shoulder neck area. He started to turn away, but just couldn't get out of the way of that fastball.
He turned in the right direction, that's for sure. Turned his back to the baseball and took it off the big part of his back. You expose your hands to that baseball, you could break a hand, break a finger, and be out of the lineup. So Granderson's at first base. Jason Nix playing at shortstop this afternoon. He was at third base last night. And an interesting night. He had a sacrifice bunt in the second, part of a 2-run inning. And then had a bloop 2-out single in the 8th that contributed to 2 more Yankee runs, kept the inning alive. On the ground, Echeverria goes to second to get the force out. Hideki Echeverria has been busy at third with the lefty Aaron Laffey on the mound.
Quebec, Ottawa, Ontario, Edmonton, Alberta, Thunder Bay, Ontario,
Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan,
Oakville, Ontario,
Calgary, Alberta,
London, Ontario, and Toronto, Ontario, Elmsdale, Nova Scotia, Kelowna,
from all across the country. Let's go Blue Jays.
Baseball Canada Baseball Day will take place tomorrow, and you saw all those kids that were part of the Blue Jays clinics across Canada. And tomorrow we will have a Baseball Canada Day, and the Little League representative for Canada going to the Little League World Series will be here and be honored. Tomorrow we will have Baseball Canada Day on the show all day long, and they've done a great job in this stadium. The Blue Jays World Series trophies are on display throughout this entire series. Yunel Escobar hits it deep to right center, but Curtis Granderson makes the catch right in front of the scoreboard.
I've been impressed with as many players there are in professional baseball now from Canada. They're everywhere when you look at it, and I think the Blue Jays do a good job of promoting that and getting the kids involved. And heck, Buck, you never know. We might be still calling games when some of those kids we just saw here get to the big league.
I hope so. Canada Baseball Day tomorrow, right here at Rogers Center. And David Cooper, he's been swinging a hot bat of late. 323 average in the month of August, 10 for 31. It's that one right to Jason Nix. 2 quick outs here in the second.
Von Nova has not had problems throwing strikes over his last couple of starts. That hasn't been the problem. It's his quality of pitches. His stuff is outstanding, and he has just been able to not locate his fastball and slider where he needs to.
Rob Thompson moving the infield defense around. Moises Sierra takes a first pitch strike. Pretty much straight away for most of these young Blue Jay hitters, as the Yankees don't have much of a book on them yet.
No scouting report on them, so they'll play them straight up and then make the adjustments as the games go along. Nothing wrong with Nova's command this afternoon.
Last time out on Monday against the Tigers, he gave up 11 hits. That tied his career high. Third time in his career he's given up that many hits in a ball game. But he throws a lot of pitches over. Sometimes that quality pitches are missing in his game, and that's what's caused him problems the last 2 starts. As Pat mentioned, he has lost his last 2 decisions. Last 2 starts have both been losses at the hands of the Orioles and the Tigers.
More sliders to the right-handed batters you'll see this afternoon. More curveballs to the left-handed hitters of the Blue Jays. And his fastball is about 93 to 94.
Took a little something off of that. Nova has a very quick second inning. Just 8 pitches, and Nova retires the Blue Jays in order. Caps it off with a strikeout of Moises Sierra. Third strikeout of the afternoon for Nova. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of TD Canada. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. So far the pitchers have the upper hand early in this ball game. Hasn't been a hit in the game. Only one base runner, Curtis Granderson, was hit by a pitch. He's the only batter that's reached base. Casey McGee starting at third base this afternoon would lead things off for the Yankees. It'll be 8-9-1 for New York.
We were talking in the opening about the Yankees, how they played to get to the World Series and win the World Series. And when they go out and try and help their ball club, they go out and get veteran players. Here's one right here. He had a season, 23 home runs just a couple of years ago for Milwaukee. Didn't really work out for him with Pittsburgh, but there's a place for him on the Yankees.
Now, he's versatile. He can play third base. He can play first base. His position has been third base throughout the majority of his career. Ground ball. Escobar waits on it in plenty of time, and Aaron Laffey's done a good job of keeping the ball on the ground.
Kept the ball down. His cutter very good this afternoon. Left side of the infield could be very busy if Laffey continues to pitch the way he has to these right-handers.
Danny Echeverria is playing his first game here at Rogers Center. He was out early this morning with Brian Butterfield. Neither club hit on the field, so Echeverria got plenty of time to work on fielding on this new surface. He's not used to playing an artificial surface, so Brian Butterfield made sure he had plenty of repetitions early this morning.
You want to be good? Get on the other end of that fungo, Brian Butterfield. He'll make you a very good fielder. And this is a tricky third base to play. You got to contend with the seams and the third base sliding pit.
The catcher is Chris Stewart. Ball and a strike to Stewart. Another bounced foul. Stewart was picked up by the Yankees on April 5th in exchange for a right-handed pitcher, George Contos. Stewart came from the San Francisco Giants. He's 30 years old, and he and Russell Martin, the majority of the catcher. Martin, of course, is the everyday catcher. Stewart giving him the day off this afternoon. Ball is hit deep down the left field line. Rajay Davis on the run, right up against the wall, and hauls it in. 2 down.
Aaron Laffey, 8 starts this season. His first 5, very good. He was pounding the strike zone. He was throwing a lot of strikes. Look at the pitches per inning, just 14.8. His last 3, the command was leaving him. But again, in his last start, his last 3 innings against Oakland, went right after him, retired him in order. And this afternoon, Aaron Laffey is looking a lot like his first 5 starts this year.
Yeah, I think he's had a chance to step back and evaluate those last few starts and say, what's different? And he has gone back to that early approach of throwing a lot of strikes. Big chopping ball, Hechavarria from third base. Oh my! Hechavarria, playing for the first time on this artificial surface, got a high bouncing ball and barehanded it, a la Omar Vizquel. But Jeter outran it.
And it had English on it also. Watch the last bounce, the ball off the bat of Jeter. Watch the last one. He thinks it's here, and it bounces almost behind him. Catches it barehanded in one motion, fires it across the infield. Takes a quick look to see where his shortstop is, and it takes that crazy bounce, and he almost makes the play.
Laffey thought they had gotten Jeter at first. I tell you what, you can't teach that.
That's baseball instincts right there.
What a play. So Jeter has a hit, his 149th of the season. Nick Swisher grounded to third base, his first time up. Jeter picks up the first hit of the ball game with that chopped single to third. Foul tip. Jim Joyce, the home plate umpire, with the late call, but he signaled that that was a foul tip off the bat of Nick Swisher. Swisher's in the hole, 0-2.
Last 3 innings in the game yesterday, Ricky Romero used a lot of fastballs and his cut fastball, and it was really working for him. Just threw a handful of changeups and curveballs, and it looks like Aaron Laffey was paying attention in last night's game, because that's the same approach that he has used here through the first 3 innings.
Romero retired the last 10 batters he faced to end up the game. That'll set well in his mind and get him ready for his next start. Good job by Gomes to smother that ball in the dirt. 1-2. Top of the third inning of a scoreless ball game. Strike 3 call. Swisher thought about swinging, decided to take it. It caught the inside corner. Aaron Laffey racks up his second strikeout of the afternoon, catches that corner with the breaking ball. Start at third base at any level of baseball. He looks quite at home at third.
Soft hands, good feet, and a very strong throwing arm. Then he was out here earlier taking some balls off the bat of Brian Butterfield. That play right there, you can't practice that one. That's all baseball instincts right there, and he almost got the runner at first base.
Pretty intriguing young player, Hideki Echeverria. Nova's got that breaking ball locked in early in the game. Kelly Johnson just off the plate inside. Johnson hit a solo home run in the second inning. Game with one out. The Yankees had scored 2 in the top half of the inning, and Kelly Johnson got one back immediately.
He then doubled his next time up for another RBI. And then Joe Girardi said, okay, that's enough hitting off the right-hander. You got to face lefties now.
You got Boone Logan in the 7th. Logan got him to pop up to center, and then Clay Rapata struck him out in the 9th. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kelly Johnson, the batter. There's that curveball. Nova has already racked up 4 strikeouts.
You know what he's doing with those breaking balls? He's changing speeds with them. And that's really throwing off the timing of the Blue Jays. This is the slow curveball, and he'll throw this to the left-handers, the hard slider to the right-handers. But he's taking something off those breaking pitches this afternoon. 4 strikeouts now in the 7 batters that he has faced.
Yan Gomes, the catcher. Breaking ball missed upstairs. Gomes has been scuffling since he has been recalled from AAA. Got off to a good start the first time around. Been back and forth 3 times now with the Blue Jays.
Little inconsistent playing time and at bats. You might sit 3 or 4 days between at bats. They've been throwing a lot of breaking balls, but I bet you they challenge him here.
He lines it into center field. Curtis Granderson got a good read on it. Makes the catch about knee high. Ivan Nova has retired 8 straight to start the ball game.
Got himself into a fastball count, and he smoked that ball to center field. And when you're going poorly like that, when you hit a ball hard, you want to get something for it. And it's just a fly ball to center field.
Third baseman Hideki Echeverria. He's just has one hit. This time Nix has it quickly, and Nova. Just 9 pitches in the 3rd inning. He has retired 9 straight Blue Jays to start the ball game. Preliminary fights. Make sure you're tuned in tonight at 8 Eastern time for all the preliminary fights at UFC 150. Lightweight champ Ben Henderson takes on former champ Frankie Edgar in the evening's main event. You can watch all the preliminary bouts beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet 1. UFC 150. Back here at Rogers Center, it is a scoreless tie as the Yankees are prepared to bat here in the top of the 4th. Only one hit in the ball game. That was Derek Jeter's infield single. Only been 2 base runners. Anderson got hit by a pitch and Jeter single. Aaron Laffey making just his 2nd career start against the Yankees. You mentioned the first start came back on April 28, 2008 when he was pitching for the Cleveland Indians.
Lost that ball game 5-2. Pitched into the 6th inning.
There's a base hit for Mark Teixeira. Hard single up the middle.
Going to get a chance to hit right-handed in this series, and he looks like he is starting to heat up from the right side. Ball's hit hard again.
Well, Laffey's done a good job of getting his ground ball out. So if he gets one right here, chances are it'll be a double play. Robinson Cano, the batter, batting cleanup. Cano is grounded into 15 double plays. On the ground, but foul. Well, the Blue Jays really need a win. Obviously, they've lost 4 straight. They are 6 games under 500 for the first time since the end of the 2009 season. See, Laffey has to be aware of mixing it up 2nd time through the order. The Yankees have a pretty good idea now. He's going to sink and cut the ball on both sides of the plate.
And he's thrown a lot of strikes, so the Yankee batters have picked up on that and they're swinging aggressively. But you're right, Blue Jays need a win. They're desperate for it right now. They're running into a tough stretch of teams that they're playing against, and not having their big guns out there make a big difference.
One ball, 1 strike to Robinson Cano. Goes after that high fastball and misses. You mentioned the tough stretch of ball games. Blue Jays have scored just 25 runs in the month of August. They're playing the Yankees. They've scored 57 runs. They're going to play Texas on this homestand. They've scored 61 runs. And then they're going to go to Detroit. They've scored 63 runs, all in the month of August. So pitching is going to be important for the Blue Jays, and you can't make mistakes like they did in last night's game.
And just like hitting was going to be important on that road trip because they were facing all those tough pitching teams.
Cano hits it high and deep into center field. Anthony goes on the run, takes a look at the wall, makes the catch right up against the fence in center. Cano used all of the ballpark and flies out to Anthony Gose, who was up against the wall in the deepest part of this ballpark.
And Aaron Laffey can breathe a sigh of relief because of Anthony Gose in center field. What made that impressive was where he was playing Robinson Cano. He was actually playing him to pull into the gap in right center field, and Cano crossed him up and sent him into left center field, and he got there really in plenty of time.
But he did very well, too. He got to the warning track and then ran parallel to the wall.
Found the wall. That's what a good outfielder always does first.
Andrew Jones upstairs with the fastball. Andrew flying out to center. They mentioned Ichiro Suzuki and how the Yankees picked up his bat when Brett Gardner was lost for the season. You can say the same about Andrew Jones, a veteran player that has bounced around. This is his second year with the Yankees. Ichiro Suzuki coming in a trade recently from the Mariners, but they go out and get veterans.
You know what I think they have recognized, and the Yankees do a good thing about that. They recognize what Brett Gardner meant to his team, how they can manufacture some runs with his legs and the stolen base, and they're going to need that in the playoffs. They're going to be running into some great pitching.
There's a strike. It's 3-1.
And it wasn't coincidence that the day after Brett Gardner was found to be lost for the season because of the elbow problems, Ichiro Suzuki ends up in New York.
Raul Ibanez, Suzuki, veterans on the bench available. Jones will take a pitch inside, and that's ball four. First walk of the ball game issued by Aaron Laffey. So Cher moves up to second, Jones at first. Curtis Granderson, the center fielder, will step in. He was hit by a pitch with 2 outs in the second. First base runner to reach in this ball game. First pitch strike. How important is it for the Yankees that they have all these veterans? They exchange information during the course of a game.
That's a great point. They come from other teams like a Suzuki. He can talk to them how the Blue Jays pitched to him and their team. They can talk about that. And great hitters and great hitting teams, they share information. They talk about, all right, how did he face you? What did he throw to you? Say all the right-handed batters get together, talk about it.
This is popped up and playable. Left side of the infield. Infield fly rule in effect. Echeverria makes the catch. Anderson's retired. Now there are 2 outs.
You can watch those really good hitting teams in the course of a game make adjustments. Texas is like that. The Boston Red Sox are like that, and the Yankees are like that. You'll see how that pitcher is throwing and then adjust to him. And you can watch it first, second, third time through the lineup.
You can see Nick Swisher talking to Ibanez and Ichiro about what this guy's trying to do. Curtis Granderson will get back and share information as well. 2 outs. Aaron Laffey trying to close out the top half of the 4th. Jason Nix hit into a fielder's choice.
Well, I think the one thing you can't do as a pitcher as you get into this game is pitch away from contact against a team like this. You have to have enough confidence and conviction in your stuff that you could just keep making pitches and you'll get outs. When you start pitching away from contact, that's when the trouble happens.
That's a good point, because Aaron Laffey is best when he's got the Yankee hitters swinging. Throw enough pitches inside the strike zone, they're going to have to swing.
You're going to give up hits. They're just good hitters. That's going to happen. But you start mixing in a few walks, hit batter, things like that. That's when the trouble starts.
Jim Joyce, the home plate umpire, mentioned something to Yan Gomes, who delivered the message to Aaron Laffey. And that's when umpires will do this from time to time. Say, hey, you know what? He's getting awfully close to not stopping, or, just go out and tell him, make a definitive stop when he comes to the set position. That happens all the time from good umpires. Ball in the strike. There's a base hit to left field. Teixeira coming around third. Here's the throw from Rajai Davis. It is not in time. Jason Nix delivers a 2-out RBI single, and the Yankees have taken a 1-0 lead.
Yankees have been hitting much better with runners in scoring position, and they pick up another 2-out base hit. Jason Nix has been coming up with some big hits for the Yankees since they acquired him. Pitch that was down, which isn't bad, and this throw just a little bit up the first base side where Gomes has to go reach for it, and that opens up a lane for Teixeira to slide in. See the throw just a little bit up, and that opens up the plate for Teixeira.
If he throws that into the baseline, Gomes can go up the baseline and meet Teixeira before he ever gets to home plate. So the Yankees with a 1-0 lead. Jones at third, Nix at first, Casey McGee the batter with 2 outs. Goes after that first pitch. McGee appeared in 92 games with the Pirates. He started 56 games at first base, 8 games at third. He had just 230. But he had 8 home runs and drove in 35.
Time for a little change of scenery.
Yeah, he was stuck in a rut there in Pittsburgh, and he lost his playing time in Milwaukee. He made some changes, and this has got to be a great feeling for him to end up on his feet here with the Yankees.
His main position, third base, and the Pirates have a good third baseman, young third baseman, and Alvarez having a big year.
The drive deep left field, and you can forget about this one. Casey McGee, a 3-run home run. The number 8 batter in the lineup has hit his first home run as a New York Yankee.
And again, that's what they do. They go out and get veteran guys who have done it in the past. Just a couple of years ago, he had 23 home runs and over 100 RBIs, so he can do it. He's a dangerous hitter. Against the left-hander, he lifts this cutter up and out of the ballpark. And it's now been a 4-run inning for the Yankees.
Well, there you see Casey McGee hits his first home run as a member of the Yankees, his 9th of the season. And we mentioned the Yankees and their veteran hitters. First time through the order, they were shut down very effectively, but that second pass, they caught up to Aaron Laffey.
Nothing like hitting your first home run with your new team. Makes you feel like you're part of that team.
Especially in a close ball game, 1-0 game, and he hits a 3-run home run to cap a 4-run inning. And there's 2 new teammates, Ichiro and McGee. Last night, Ichiro had 5 RBI.
Not a lot of soft outs in this lineup.
Just off the plate inside to the catcher, Chris Stewart. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another drive toward the gap. That's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. 2 hops off the wall. Anthony Ghost retrieves it, gets it back to the infield, and Chris Stewart has his 7th double of the season.
Got to get out on that front side and drive that ball down. Chris Walton's going to come out and talk to his pitcher. Now after that last double, he's probably going to tell him that he needs to extend just a little bit more to help him get that ball down like he did the first couple of innings in this game.
Seventh double of the season for the Yankees catcher. Still keeps things alive. All of this happened with 2 outs. Jason Nix delivered a 2-out RBI single to left, and then Casey McGee's 3-run home run to deep left center. Two outs. Back to the top of the order, Derek Jeter had an infield single his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Jeter hits it sharply, but right to the second baseman. Kelly Johnson goes to first. The inning is over. But the Yankees send 8 men to the plate in the 4th inning, and they strike with 2 outs, capped off by a Casey McGee 3-run home run. His first as a Yankee. 4-0 New York. The Yankees were 0 for 8, and he hit about it. But it was a different story. Second time through the order, they made dramatic adjustments. And Derek Jeter got an infield single his first time up, and that was one of 5 hits they got the second time through the order. They capped it off with a 3-run home run off the bat of Casey McGee.
Information. Pass that information around and just be ready when he makes a mistake to jump on it.
Second time through the order, the Yankees were 5 for 8 with a walk. Rajay Davis trying to get things going. Blue Jays are looking for their first base runner. And there he is. A leadoff single for Rajay Davis. It's the first hit for the Jays.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
CN Tower right next to Rogers Center. Good crowd on hand. Now the hometown Blue Jay fans are going to try to rally the troops, see if they can't get back in this ball game. Anthony Gose, the strikeout victim his first time up. Shows bunt and pulls the bat back.
Everybody shortens up. And on the infield, when Anthony Gose is at the plate, he's such a dynamic runner. And when he learns the bunt, which the Blue Jays are working with, he's going to be even better. Tough to double this guy up.
Two and 0. Colby Rasmus is usually in the number 2 spot in the lineup. He left the ball game yesterday in the 9th inning with that recurrence of his groin injury. It doesn't appear to be significant. John Farrell is optimistic that Rasmus will miss just minimal time. Davis was thinking about running.
Throw over looked like it might have surprised him a little bit. He flinched a little bit like he was going to try and take off.
There he goes. And Gose bunts it. He gets a little more experience under his belt with 2 balls and no strikes. He'll take that pitch. Davis had a good jump. Rajay probably had it stolen. And with the 2-0 count, Gose can take it no matter if it's a ball or a strike.
If it's a strike, hey, I can hit 2 and 1. But the good news is we've got a runner in scoring position now. So we got to go back and do it over again.
And now the Yankees certainly feel that Rajay's liable to run here. Already twice in this at bat. Once he took off, the other time he had to scramble back to get to first base. There he goes again. Strike 2 call. The throwers up and away at second. Davis picks up his 32nd bag of the season. Moves into scoring position. Gose is now with a 2-2 count.
Only been thrown out 8 times. Got 1 foot on the carpet, and there he goes. And it's a good pitch to throw on by Stewart, but no chance.
Gose strikes out another breaking ball down and in, and he is struck out twice on the same pitch.
That's a pitch that he's going to have to learn to make a little bit of contact. If you shorten up your swing a little bit and think about going back through the middle. John Farrell's going to come out now and talk to Jim Joyce. He's pointing to center field. I don't know if he was pointing to the cart or the count. Yeah, I saw the umpire throw his hands up at second base when Rajay Davis was sliding in.
Really?
Like it was a dead call, like it was called a balk or something like that. Watch the umpire. Lower left. Now the pitch is a strike, but here's the umpire say, well, hold on, timeout a second.
Jim Reynolds is pointing to Rajay Davis if they stay there, but no one else indicated that it was a balk. Jim Joyce, the home plate umpire, called strike 2. At that point, it was a 2-2 count. By all the information we had. Now Joe Girardi wants clarification. What are you telling me here? And Jim Joyce is saying that Jim Reynolds called a balk.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that we could come up with. A balk on the stolen base attempt. So take the stolen base away from Rajay Davis. Call it a balk. And the count is now 2-2 to Anthony Gose.
Generally, when an umpire calls a balk, the other 3 will support him and they'll all chime in. But we saw Jim Reynolds at second after the stolen base indicate balk and awarded Rajay Davis second base. Now there's a throw to second. Interesting development. Rajay gets a first hit for the Blue Jays and starts it off with a single, and he appeared to steal second, but he's awarded second on the balk. Now Gose has a chance to at least move him up. And he strikes out. Nova comes right back with that same pitch, and Gose swings over the top of it.
You got to figure that. If he struck him out the first time with a breaking ball, he's going to come right back to it, and that's what he did. Breaking ball, and this is where Anthony Gose is going to have to learn to shorten up his swing just a little bit and have a little bit better two-strike approach.
There's a pair of strikeouts so far. Edwin Encarnacion popped to center field. First pitch strike. Edwin is now 1 for 10 against Ivan Nova.
And I am guessing he is not going to get too many fastballs in this at bat.
Well, Rajay Davis has certainly got into Nova's head. Keeps jockeying for a bigger and bigger lead at second. There's a base hit to right field. Davis is coming around third. There'll be no throw, and Encarnacion delivers. His 76th RBI, and the Blue Jays are on the board against Ivan Nova.
Well, he threw him a fastball and he paid the price. Runner at second base, you got first base open, and he challenges him, tries to go inside. It's up and over the middle of the plate, and Encarnacion delivers with the RBI single to right field. So a stolen base by Davis pays off for a run by the Blue Jays. Check that, the balk. It was a stolen base. Had to get my white out.
Encarnacion at first for Yunel Escobar. There's one out, a run in. Nova last time out gave up 11 hits to the Tigers. He's capable of melting down. 25-year-old starter. Breaking ball has been a good pitch for him to get ahead. Nova's making his 5th career start against the Blue Jays. It's a 2-1 record. Jim Joyce, there's no mistake when he calls it a strike.
You can hear him all the way up here.
I love that.
A little Dutch Rennert in him. Remember Dutch Rennert?
Yep. Long-time National League umpire. 0-2 to Escobar. Hit him. He bailed out, caught him on the back.
I think that's a case right there that they were trying to set up Escobar with a high fastball, 0-2. No chance that they want to hit him. They were setting up the next pitch. Stewart, the catcher, had gotten up and wanted that ball up. Watch the catcher in and up. Give it to me here. And it gets away from Nova. The way he has been throwing, and he has had good command, I don't think he needs to set up hitters. 0-2. I think you just go right after him. But he makes a mistake. Brings the tying run to the plate.
Yeah, and it's a big mistake. That's the 8th batter he has hit this year. That's the most on the Yankees pitching staff. So David Cooper, who's been swinging the bat well of late, lined out his first time up. Encarnacion at second, Escobar at first.
You know, as good as his curveball and his breaking ball have been today, no need to try and set that up with a high fastball out of the strike zone. Not when you're 0-2.
Missed with that pitch down and away. It's a ball and a strike. I think Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, came out and delivered a message. Hey, just focus on the batter. They got preoccupied with Rajai Davis both at first and at second. I think sometimes pitchers forget what the score is. 4-0. Rajai Davis, he's not the important guy. Larry Rothschild, longtime pitching coach, former manager, went out the mound and said, you know what, let's get the batter out. We got a big cushion here. Now he's got himself in a jam.
Yeah. He's important if he's the tying or winning run. But at 4-0, the most important guy was at the plate.
Down and in. David Cooper hit .314 at AAA. He was the Pacific Coast League batting champ a year ago at .364. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Full count.
Wild in the strike zone his last couple of starts. Right now, this inning, he's wild outside the strike zone.
Edwin Encarnacion drove in the first run for the Blue Jays. He singled, and then Escobar was hit by a pitch. Full count, 1 out. That breaking ball looked like the same pitch he threw to Anthony Ghost, down under the hands of Cooper, and he comes up with a big strikeout.
And the confidence to throw it 3-2. And he's had a good one. Not just curveball. Throw it more to the lefties than to the right-handers. That time he put it in a good spot.
The rookie Moises Sierra will try to deliver with 2 outs. He struck out on what looked to be a hard slider back in the second inning. There's that breaking ball. You were right on the money, Pat. He can throw that breaking ball just about anywhere he wants to.
No need to set it up when you can throw it like that.
Teixeira bobbles it momentarily, but steps on the bag to end the Blue Jays inning. They get on the board. An RBI single by Edwin Encarnacion has made it a 4-1 ball game. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zahn on the Blackberry Chicago White Sox will be in town, and it begins on Monday, August 13th at 7:07. It's a 4-game series. Chicago White Sox lead the Detroit Tigers by a game in the AL Central. For tickets to the White Sox series, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. You can log on to BlueJays.com or stop by Bros Rogers Plus locations. White Sox in town for a 4-game series. Nick Swisher was the only Yankee not to bat in the 4th inning. Yankees sent 8 men to the plate and scored 4 runs. Pulled foul. It's 0-2. In that White Sox series, Jake Peavy will start things up for Chicago. He'll be opposed by Carlos Villanueva. Peavy's done a good job bouncing back for Chicago. He's got a 9-8 record, but a very good 3.08 ERA.
They got some reinforcements in Francisco Liriano for that pitching staff.
They got some bad news yesterday as Paul Konerko was placed on a disabled list. He is on the 7-day disabled list that allows you to place a player on that 7-day list because of a concussion. Swisher spoils a pretty good pitch and stays alive.
Well, that's what Aaron Laffey's got to do right here. The team scored him a run in the bottom of the inning. You need a quick inning. You need to have few pitches to get right back in that dugout and put Ivan Nova on the defensive.
And Nova had a long inning in the bottom of the 4th, but minimized the damage, allowing just 1 run. Laffey had a 1-2-3 inning in the 1st. He retired Jeter, Swisher, and Teixeira in order. Ivan Nova gave up a run on 2 hits and stranded a pair in the bottom of the 4th. Popped up, playable. David Cooper in foul ground. Swisher's retired. That's the first out that Laffey's looking for. Mark Teixeira started the 4-run rally with a leadoff single in the 4th.
When he gets set and he starts waving that bat the way he does, you know he is locked in. He's been swinging the bat much better of late, and he is seeing the ball right now.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pitch he laid off of, down and away. And we have seen Teixeira in these ruts where he swings at everything. When he's not feeling good, Blue Jays have always handled him when they can get the change-ups over, a lot of off-speed pitches.
Yeah, fastballs up and pull the string, use that changeup against him.
The 4-pitch walk with 1 out in the 5th. Robinson Cano 0 for 2 so far. Cano earlier in the season had a 23-game hit streak. Yankees always felt early on that Cano would one day win a batting title. He has that type of balance, that type of approach to play where he's never really going to go into an extended slump.
Went off to a little bit of a slow start this year and then has just turned it on. Since that first week of May, that's when he started to see the ball just a little bit better and start hitting. He has hit over 330. Push that average up to 316.
Coming into this season, he has a 308 career average. He hasn't really had a good read on Aaron Laffey so far this afternoon.
Threw out deep to center field last time up on a nice play. Got his bat broken. His first time up. 2 strikes now. You know he's going to wait as long as possible to try and shoot a ball to left field.
So they're going to try to go upstairs here. They do and miss outside. Yankees lead 4-1. We are in the top half of the 5th inning. Good scoop by Yan Gomes. Gomes starting behind the plate for just the 4th time. He did the majority of the catching once he got back to AAA Las Vegas after Travis d'Ormeau injured his knee. d'Ormeau will be shut down for the rest of the season.
He has made some starts at first base, 8. He's made 5 starts at third. 4th start at catcher. He's also had some time in the outfield. Reading that ball now. Cano. Yeah, 0-2 to 3-2.
Seeing it much better, and the Yankees, after that first time through the batting order, have done a much better job of picking up the baseball from Aaron Laffey. Full count. Teixeira at first base. Off speed pitch, hooked foul. Teixeira wasn't running on the pitch, nor do you expect him to.
Yeah, you don't need to. Right here, you got the lead. Let Cano hit. Don't want to run into an out.
Another 3-2 pitch to Robinson Cano. Inside. Another walk. Back-to-back walks with 1 out in the 5th.
This is what we were talking about last inning, about pitching away from contact. The Yankees will kill you by using the base home balls to their advantage. Walk a couple of guys and then you get a home run hitter to the plate, and just like that 2 or 3 runs can cross.
So Bruce Walton, after a discussion with the manager John Farrell, is called down to the bullpen, and they'll get somebody going. Yankees with a couple on and 1 out. Andrew Jones up and away for a ball. Laffey's having trouble throwing quality strikes right now.
Walked a batter last inning around those 4 hits, and now a couple of walks. Looks like Chad Jenkins is up and getting ready.
This is popped up right side of the infield. The umpire's calling infield fly. Cooper makes the catch. Jones is retired. Umpire's waiting to see where that ball is going to come down, and it came down within the range of the infielder, so the infield fly was in effect. 2 outs. Curtis Granderson. Granderson has been dropped into the 6th spot in the batting order, just trying to free him up a little bit. He's hit second most of the season and has fared very well. Obviously, another 30 home run season for Granderson.
Yeah, that's the plus, 30 home runs. He's better than that 241 average that he is taking up there right now.
Pulls it on the ground. Cooper will go to the bag, and Granderson will be retired. Aaron Laffey gets out of a jam in the 5th inning. Couple of walks, but the Yankees don't take advantage. The Blue Jays trail New York by 3. Saturday is presented by Boston Pizza. The next Junior Jays Saturday will take place August 18th when the Blue Jays and Rangers hook up for a 107 start. There's special kids price tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Always a lot of great activities inside and outside the ballpark on Junior Jays Saturday. Kelly Johnson takes one down and in for a ball. Kelly was a strikeout victim back in the 3rd. 2-0. A little looper that'll drop for a base hit into center field. Kelly Johnson gets it started with a single.
He's starting to figure out Ivan Nova. Taking some of those breaking balls early in the count, get in a fastball count, and then take over. Johnson dumps this ball into left field. Struck out 4 of the first 7 batters, and the Blue Jays have had better at bats since then.
Nova retired the first 9. He was perfect through 3 innings. Rajay Davis had a leadoff single in the 4th. Yan Gomes. Gomes hit the ball hard his first time up. He lined out to Curtis Granderson in center field.
He might have to go up there and just sit on a breaking ball for a while, because that's all he is getting from these pitchers, especially early in the count. Once you start hitting them, they will change back and start throwing you more fastballs. Slider down and away. So just sit on it, and if it comes into the strike zone, whack it. I guarantee you those pitchers will think twice about throwing another breaking ball.
Yeah, all you got to do is hit one. You hit a good breaking ball, and they go, oh, he's on that breaking ball. It'll take him a while to go back to it. Ball on the strike. A good rip at that fastball, and that's how you handle a breaking ball. Don't miss the fastball.
Because they're going to come right back at it, right? You foul back that first fastball you see. I guarantee you that curveball's coming.
Yeah, they won't waste any time. You get one shot at that fastball, and if you miss it, you're going to get another hook. 1-2. There's that slider in a good spot. Gomes strikes out.
more sliders to the right-handers, and he said that was the one pitch that was giving him trouble his last couple of starts. Nova, Larry Rothschild, they have worked on it in the bullpen, just tweaking it just a little bit, throwing it a little bit more consistently, staying on top of it a little bit better.
Yeah, even when he threw it in the past, it didn't have that bite. It just kind of spin up there and become very hittable. Now, Danny Hechavarria, the shortstop, excuse me, the third baseman, grounded to the shortstop. Yankees with a 4-1 lead. Well, whenever he's in trouble, he goes right back to that curveball and gets him back into the count.
Just flips it up there. First pitch of the at-bat to get ahead and putting some of those hitters on the defensive. Now they're saying, okay, is he going to go back to that curveball? Is he going to throw a slider, a fastball? Looks like they're going to try and pound him in.
They do, and he hits it hard, but Andrew Jones, the Gold Glover, reacts very quickly and makes the catch.
Well, he is so sure-handed out in the outfield. You mentioned all the Gold Gloves. Those were won while he was a center fielder. He has made the transition to the corner spots for the Yankees. Handled that one easy. Got to figure that ball got into the lights at some point. Those low liners to left field. He made that one look easy.
10-time Gold Glover. Played center field like a shortstop. Rajai Davis, 2 outs. Off the end of the bat, a little bit of an English on it, but Mark Teixeira stayed with it. And the Blue Jays are done in their half of the 5th. They get a leadoff single, but Nova shuts them down. 4-1 Yankees through 5. Ken Carson and Lillian were married early this morning. Paul Beeston, Cito Gaston in attendance, and Ken Carson, a longtime Blue Jays employee, former trainer. He was a trainer when I was a player. He and Lillian were married in a pregame ceremony on the field here at Rogers Center. Great opportunity for a lot of old friends to get together and celebrate the wedding of Ken and Lillian Carson this morning. Congratulations to you both.
Saw him in the hotel yesterday, and he was beaming, saying, "I'm getting married on the field." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I heard about that." So we were here, we were watching from our perch up here.
Yeah, they did a nice job. They have an archway of balloons, and all of the guests were seated along the third base line. He's been a baseball guy forever, so it's Fitting that he would have the wedding on the baseball field. Casey McGee is the difference in this ball game. He hit a 3-run home run off Aaron Laffey in the 4th. His first home run as a member of the Yankees. His 9th of the season. He had 8 with the Pirates before being acquired by New York.
He's got some power. And hitting down in the lineup. Should see a lot of fastballs. Pitchers take a big deep breath as they get through the top part of the lineup, and they say, okay, now I'm down at the bottom. I can take a deep breath and maybe challenge some guys. Well, he's waiting for you.
Fair ball just beyond the reach of Hechavarria. Off the wall, Rajay Davis doesn't have a throw. Casey McGee hits his 2nd double of the season. Looked like he was out in front of that off-speed pitch and was able to keep it fair.
Kept his weight back just enough and his hands back. Watch him wait and then explode on that little cutter on the inside part of the plate. Didn't hit it that hard. It sounded like maybe he got it off the end of the bat a little bit. And he gets himself into scoring position.
Chris Stewart had a double to the wall in center field. Back in the 4th, he was left on base. He drops a bunt down the third base line, and the Blue Jays will let it roll. It trickles into foul territory. Pretty good idea by Chris Stewart. He caught the rookie third baseman back at third. Number 9 hitter dropped the bunt down there. If it's fair, he turns the lineup over.
Yep, and you got a couple of runners on. Normally, you don't see right-handed batters versus left-handed pitchers with a runner in scoring position drop down a bunt. Usually you see them trying to drive in that run from second base. But he noticed that Hechavarria was deep. He's going to pull him in now. At third base, he's playing just behind the cut of that sliding pit.
Inside. Well, Hechavarria will get constant adjustments from his infield coach, Brian Butterfield. Always check in the dugout. Butterfield will move him back and forth according to who the hitter is and what the count is. Popped up on the infield. Escobar calls for it. The shortstop makes the catch. 2 down. The captain, Derek Jeter. Here's his share of boos. I always find that interesting. People boo good players. And he's a good player. .314 average. He's 1 for 3 so far. He had an infield hit in the 3rd inning. He got the first hit off of Aaron Laffey. 149 hits for the season. Tried to check and went around.
Look, I've never heard fans boo bad players. They only boo good players out of respect.
Reggie Jackson always said fans don't boo nobodies.
They got to know you first when you're the enemy, when you're on the road. Well, the fans here certainly know.
Jeter to the gap in right field. This ball is going to drop and bounce out of the ballpark. Casey McGee comes in for 5th run. Derek Jeter with the ground rule double has 2 hits this afternoon. That gives him 150 hits for the season for the 17th straight year. It's also his 514th career double, but Jeter, 17 consecutive seasons with at least 150 hits. Only Hank Aaron has done that. So Jeter and Aaron in a class by themselves.
Yeah, that's just a good piece of hitting. I was able to stay back on that ball and drive it to right field between the outfielders. Got an infield single his 2nd time up, and then hits one hard to the gap.
Nick Swisher has gone 0 for 3. Ground out, strikeout, and popped out. Swisher tried to check his swing and taps it foul. Aaron Loup, the left-hander, starts to loosen up. John Farrell had Chad Jenkins up briefly earlier in the ball game. And now probably looking ahead to the Robinson Cano spot. Good job by Gomes to keep Jeter at second. That ball was in the dirt, and he stayed in front of it.
Just get a piece of your body on it, any piece, and keep it in front of you. The runner at second base is not going to advance. He has shown some talent back there behind the plate as a catcher. Throws really well.
His versatility is very valuable, especially in this day and age of 12 and 13 man pitching staffs. In this day and age, it's a real benefit to have a guy that can play infield and outfield, like Mike McCoy, who's just rejoined the ball club this morning. But when you have a guy that can play catcher, infield, and outfield, it's really something.
Yeah, you can carry an extra pitcher then on that bullpen in case you need him.
Swisher lays off the outside pitch. It's a fourth walk issued by Aaron Laffey. And John Farrell is coming to the mound. He's got Aaron Loup ready.
He's already called for him as he came out of that dugout. He wanted to change it up just a little bit right here, and Aaron Laffey just cannot finish the 6th inning.
So Laffey's day has come to an end with 2 outs here in the 6th. Aaron Loup, the left-hander, will come on to face Mark Teixeira. His responsibility. He'll turn things over to another left-hander, Aaron Loup, who makes his 12th appearance of the season.
Aaron Loup has done a heck of a job for the Blue Jays. He's lost a couple of games late, but has a very good ERA of 3.14. He's handled the lefties and the righties. He throws from that 3/4 slot and has a lot of distraction to batters at the plate. He can throw that breaking ball for a strike at any time.
Mark Teixeira against the bullpen last night. Steve Delamar just entered the game, and the first pitch in the top of the 8th, Teixeira hit it to the second deck in right. That made it a 4-2 Yankee lead at the time, and they would go on to score 3 in the 8th and 4 in the 9th. But the bullpen, which has really been a strength of this ball club recently, was hit hard last night. Mark Teixeira. Breaking ball way outside. Good pitch. Yankee hitters, we've talked about it all afternoon, how they are such experienced veteran hitters. They're not really comfortable facing a guy they haven't seen much of, and they don't know anything about Aaron Loup. Loup has held right-handed batters to a .207 average. The breaking ball around the outside corner.
He came in New York. And they faced him at Yankee Stadium in the middle of July. So they have seen him. And he's done a good job for him.
2-1. He's got a good fastball. That's what neutralizes the right-handed bats. Good sinking action on that fastball.
I was talking to a scout before today's game who was scouting the Yankees and the Blue Jays, and he thinks that he can pitch a long time, Luke, because he throws strikes, he's deceptive, he's got a good breaking ball, he's left-handed, and he throws harder than you might think.
Well, just missed downstairs. It's a full count. 2 outs. Jeter at second, Swisher at first. They'll be off on the pitch. Yankees have added a run here in the top of the 6th. There go the runners. Grounded toward third. Hechavarria waits on it and throws to first, and the inning is over. Luke does his job. He comes out of the bullpen and strands a pair of Yankee base runners. Retires Mark Teixeira. That closes out the Yankees in the top of the 6th. Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. New York Yankees lead 5-1 as the Blue Jays are set to bat in the bottom of the 6th. Anthony Gose has struck out twice this afternoon on that pitch right there. Nova has thrown that curveball effectively all afternoon.
Time to start looking for it. Imagine that some of these young hitters are finding that the sequences that they're getting pitches in the big league a little bit different than in AAA. These type of pitchers can command 3 and 4 pitches, and they can use them all at any time. Oh, good 2-1 curveball right there.
Yeah, in the minor leagues, you get a fastball 9 times out of 10. When the pitcher is behind 2 balls and a strike, he's just going to throw you a fastball. Strike 3 call. This time that breaking ball catches the outside corner. Gross is down for a 3rd time on strikes.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Roof is closed at Rogers Center. There's been some rain activity around the area all weekend long. Edwin Encarnacion has the only RBI for the Blue Jays. They've scored 1 run and he drove it in. It's really kind of interesting because he is the one threat in this lineup that you don't want to give into, and sure enough, he delivered.
They pitched to him, they challenged him, and he delivered with that RBI hit. Not challenging him this time with a 4-run lead. He has flipped that curveball over when he is behind all afternoon long.
Glenn hasn't lost a thing on his fastball as he's working in the 6th inning. Encarnacion will take yet another walk. Teams just won't give in to him, and can't really blame them. And he's the one legitimate run producer and home run threat the Blue Jays have left healthy in their lineup.
They'll have to just be patient and wait for those teams to pitch to him.
Yunel Escobar flied out and was hit by a pitch. The Yankee bullpen last night, 5 relievers worked in a game. I mean, it was a 10-4 final. Freddie Garcia went 6, and then there was a steady parade of relievers into the ball game.
Saw everybody but David Phelps and Rafael Soriano. And Soriano was up in last night's game until the Yankees blew it open with 4 in the 9th inning.
They used Logan, Chamberlain, Robertson, Rapata, and Epley. He hit him again. And now Jim Joyce has warned Nova, and now both benches. Escobar is hit for a 2nd time, and as we mentioned, Nova has hit more batters than any Yankee pitcher. It's the 2nd time Escobar has been hit, and now there's a warning in place to both clubs.
Yeah, and if anything from the Blue Jays side, in the mind of Jim Joyce, is on purpose, they'll get tossed. Watch Jim Joyce, the home plate umpire, as his fastball rides in again on Escobar. You can't get that elbow out of the way. There's the warning right there to the pitcher and to both benches.
Jim Joyce obviously never hesitated. He thought there was some intent behind that 2nd time Escobar got hit. And now they're waiting on Escobar at first, as Torey Lovullo has asked for time to let Escobar get the feeling back. Not sure where he got hit. May have gotten hit on the tricep above the elbow.
Yeah, it looked like it got him right in that elbow area. And you get hit there, you get hit that funny bone like that, your whole arm will go numb. So you're just trying to walk it off right now.
David Cooper, as Nova comes right back with a strike. Towards a fastball on the outside corner. This is where the Blue Jays have really been hurting. They haven't been able to come up with a big hit. get him back in this ball game. On the ground, Teixeira backs up, looks at second, throws high, and they call Escobar out. Nix looked like he may have come off the bag, but Jim Reynolds at second stayed with the call. Escobar stayed on the bag for a moment. Teixeira's throw to second was a bit high.
Didn't hesitate at all, the umpire. He punched him out right away. Thought Teixeira would just take the sure out at first base. They're just looking for some outs now. When he spun around to throw, watch Nix, the shortstop, stretch as far as he can. And from that shot right there, it looks like the foot is not on the bag when he catches the ball. But right away, the second base umpire, Jim Reynolds, punched him out.
Right fielder Moises Sierra bats with 2 outs.
You know, you were talking about Blue Jays haven't been able to come up with the big base hit. The Yankees have been giving them a chance to come up with the hit by walks and hit batters. They only have 3 hits this afternoon. They've got to start bunching hits together.
They had a pair of leadoff singles in the 4th and 5th. Just been unable to come up with that big hit where they back a couple hits up, maybe even a hit batter, and then deliver an extra base hit. That gets you back in a ball game quickly.
Yeah, this could be the guy right here. Good time to get that first big league home run.
Stays back and hits it. Cano dives, gets to his feet quickly and throws Sierra out. Robinson Cano made a good defensive play to bail out Ivanova, and that ends the 6th. Blue Jays strand a pair of base runners, and the Yankees still have a comfortable lead. Cosentino and Dirk Hayhurst on Baseball Central at noon, weekdays on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, and right here on Rogers Sportsnet. Big crowd on hand, 45,582. That's the 3rd sellout of the season for the Blue Jays. Yankees always a big draw. They had 41,000 last night. Great crowd here on Junior Jay's Saturday, and the Yankees are in town, and now they'd love to see the Blue Jays come back and win this game. Aaron Loup stays in the ball game. He came in and got Mark Teixeira to end the top half of the 6th. Robinson Cano. Ground ball, perfectly positioned is the shortstop Escobar. Cano's retired. He's 0 for 3.
Doesn't get phased. Looks like he has been pitching in the big leagues a long time. Only been up here a couple of months, and he has really made an impression.
Really kind of came out of nowhere. He wasn't in camp with the Blue Jays. He didn't have a lot of acclaim. We didn't hear a lot about him throughout his minor league career, but he's made an impression in the big leagues. Gets ahead of Andrew Jones with a strike. And 2. There's that breaking ball, and Luke strikes out Andrew Jones on 3 pitches.
And he made that look easy, and he did it with 3 different pitches. Changed up on him first pitch, fastball second pitch, and then that bender. It looks like it's over in the other batter's box, and then sweeps right across the inside part of the plate, making it tough on both lefties and righties.
Curtis Granderson gets a look at that breaking ball and watches it sail outside. Two and out. Just missed. It's 3-0.
Granderson came into this season a 267 lifetime hitter, and that's why that 241 average not as good. He is a better hitter than that. One thing he has done, I think, over the last couple of years a lot better is handled left-handed pitching a lot better. 9 of his 30 home runs have come against lefties this year.
Hits this ball high and deep into center field. Anthony Ghost gets over, makes the grab. Aaron Luke, a perfect 1-2-3 7th inning. He's retired all 4 Yankees he's faced. Middle of the 7th. The Yankees lead 5-1. We will go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Blue Jays fans just settling back into their seats after saying, "Take me out to the ball game." Kelly Johnson looks at that curveball that finds the outside corner. Kelly has struck out and singled against Ivan Nova. Curveball has saved him all afternoon. That's been his bread and butter pitch.
And he was talking how the last couple of starts the slider has failed him. Curveball's been good to him. He's got a great pitcher's build. Just 25 years old. A nice, easy motion. 10 wins this season for Nova. Had a great year last year for him.
1-2 to Kelly Johnson. Upstairs, breaking ball was high. Right, 3 call. That time he came down and in with that breaking ball. Johnson strikes out for a second time. That's 9 strikeouts for Nova. His season high is 12.
And once again with the curveball, and that's high enough, and it catches the plate. Where it goes over the plate, Kelly Johnson gives up on it. Nova last year went 16-4 for the Yankees. He hasn't been that sharp this year, but today you wouldn't know it.
John Gomes came into this ball game 4 for his last 30. Now he's 4 for 32 with a line out and a strikeout. John Gomes has a very exaggerated leg kick, and he's got an unusual place that he holds his hands, and that's probably created some problems for him. A lot of moving parts to his approach. Hits that one sharply to third. Casey McGee has it. 2 quick outs here in the 7th.
You know, you have to time everything up when you've got all those moving parts, and I think that's why pitchers are throwing more breaking balls to him, trying to mess up that timing. High leg kick, high hands, gets his feet back. And he's on that one, on that breaking ball right there. Hit that one hard, but right at the third baseman.
Now, everything has to be perfect when you have that many moving parts, and it's difficult to repeat that time and time again. The Danny Echeverria line to left field his last time up.
Nova had some early innings where he had few pitches, and that has really saved him to help him go a little bit deeper into this game.
Echeverria hits it to center field. Granderson is back, and what a catch. He didn't expect Echeverria to have that kind of pop, and he almost drove it over his head, but Granderson did a good job to stay with it. He turned his back to the infield and took off and reaches high over his head to haul it in. That ends the 7th inning. Good support for Nova. Spitzer, the official sunflower seeds of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Casey McGee made his Yankee debut 10 days ago after they required him from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and this is his first home run, and it's a big one. 3-run home run by McGee into the second deck. Gives the Yankees capped off their 4-run fourth inning. A big hit from a veteran hitter.
Casey McGee would have another crack of the bat in the sixth when he doubled and scored 2 for 3 this afternoon. And how about the Yankees? We talked about the Yankees picking up veteran players. Ichiro Suzuki tied his career high in last night's game as he drove in 5 runs. Third time in his career he's done that. So a couple of late season pickups for New York have had big parts in these first 2 games against the Blue Jays.
Well, he will face a new pitcher as he gets ready to hit here in the 8th inning, and it's Chad Jenkins. He has pitched in 1 game since being recalled from AA. That was down in Tampa a couple of days ago. They gave him 3 innings. He looked very good. 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, no runs, no walks in that game. Showed a very good fastball that had good movement, good sinking action to it, and a good little slider to go along with it. So Jenkins, after those 3 innings 4 days ago, had a couple of days off, back in here now against the Yanks.
We mentioned the Blue Jays made a roster move. They added Mike McCoy to the roster after the game last night. David Carpenter was sent back to AAA. And McCoy flew all night and joined the ball club this morning. Chad Jenkins misses with that first pitch inside. Jason Nix drove in the first Yankee run back in the 4th. An RBI single to left, and then he scored on McGee's 3-run homer.
Here's another veteran who is starting to help out the Yankees. Nix has played some third base, and he has played some shortstop. He also had a start in the outfield. He came up with an RBI single this afternoon.
It's really interesting how players just kind of blend in with the Yankees no matter what their roles have been in the past. Ichiro Suzuki, after the game last night, talking about starting in center field, said, "I'll do just about anything but catch for the Yankees."
Would he have said that a month ago?
And he's been reluctant to play center field for the Mariners, but he moved right over. Got his first start in center field since 2008. Andrew Jones, a former 10-time Gold Glover in center, has played left field. But you get into this atmosphere with New York where expectations are World Series or bust. Everybody just kind of blends in.
And it just brings everybody's attention a little bit higher.
Ground ball. Hechavarria takes a nice backhanded grab and throws out Nix. Hechavarria's had a good day with the glove at third.
Very busy. He made a play earlier today that Jeter ended up getting a hit on, but he has shown very good reflexes at third base, a strong and accurate arm.
I have 7 assists for Hechavarria at third base today. It's very comfortable. I'm sure we'll see him play some short on this homestand. It's a 10-game homestand, and John Farrell considering giving Escobar a day of rest. Casey McGee hits it off the end of the bat and flies out to Rajay Davis. 2 quick outs for Chad Jenkins.
We asked him about that, about possibly seeing Hechavarria. Yeah, maybe we'll DH Escobar a day, get him off his feet, give him a chance to still swing the bat. See Hechavarria at shortstop, his natural position.
But Laurie is on the disabled list. He's eligible to be activated on the 19th of August. That'll be the final day of this homestand, and by all reports, Laurie expects to be activated at that point. Catcher Chris Stewart makes the first pitch outside. Popped up. Hechavarria over in foul territory has room, and the inning is over. Chad Jenkins needs just 8 pitches to set down the Yankees in order in the 8th. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Now it's time for the Smart Play, brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Please enjoy responsibly.
They call it the hot corner because the ball gets down there awfully quickly. With Andy Echeverria playing there just for the 6th time, you got to keep your eye on the baseball. You can knock it down, keep your body in front of it, but don't take your eye off the baseball. Echeverria doesn't do that. He is able to get Swisher over at first base with those good reflexes. Tonight's Smart Play by Echeverria.
No, he's quick like a cat. He knocked that ball down and pounced right on it. And then he's got the arm strength of the shortstop that he is. Top of the order, Rajay Davis, 1 for 3. Blue Jays have just 3 hits.
Unfortunately, that's been a theme for the last 2 weeks or so.
Had 3 hits on Thursday in the afternoon game against Tampa Bay. Had 3 hits on Tuesday. James Shields combined with Fernando Rodney to hold him to 3 hits. Ivan Nova working in the 8th inning. First time in 8 starts he's been able to pitch into the 8th inning. He went 7 1/3 and got a no decision against the White Sox on June 28th.
Still under 100 pitches because he had some innings where he had some 4s and some 7s and 8s.
Davis gets another base hit, and Granderson tries to cut it out. Rajay Davis headed for second, and he'll get there with a leadoff double. His 16th double of the season.
You know what he did? He showed better plate discipline once he got to 2 strikes. He knew that Nova was going to try and get him to fish for a breaking ball out. Got the count back into his favor at 2-2. Nova with a 4-run lead. He's got to challenge it. He doesn't want to walk him. Fastball, and it's sliced into the gap in left center field. Rajay Davis with that speed knows that he can make it easily in the scoring position. That hit right there was a better approach after he fell behind 0-2.
Anthony Gose has struck out 3 times. He went down twice swinging. Last time in the 6th. He was caught looking at the breaking ball. Upstairs. Mentioned the Yankees bullpen last night. There were 5 relievers that worked in that ball game, and it ended up a 10-4 game. David Robertson pitched in that game, pitched an inning, gave up a hit and a run.
Jabba Chamberlain just a third of an inning, Epley a third of an inning, and Rapata 2/3 of an inning. One of the things that Anthony Gose can do right now is jam yourself. Try and get jammed. And what that'll do is it'll keep you back just a little bit longer. He's committing just a little bit too early, and that's why he's having problems with that breaking ball. You think about getting jammed, you're going to stay back and hit the ball the other way.
Got a piece of that breaking ball that time. Oftentimes you'll hear hitting coaches talk about let the pitcher turn it loose before you start, especially when you're seeing a steady diet of breaking balls. So that's one of the things Wayne Murphy has talked about, especially these young hitters. They haven't seen curveballs like this, and the ability of a pitcher to throw one after another for a strike.
Yeah, and throw it where they need to get the out.
And then he goes upstairs with a good fastball at 94. Those were their 4 strikeout day.
They will put the work in, and the experience that he's getting invaluable. We were talking about it very briefly last night. You can't replicate what you do here at the big leagues. You can't copy this and try and work on it. The only way is experience. Get out there and play the game.
10 strikeouts for Nova. 3rd time he's recorded double-digit strikeouts this season. Nova struck out 10 Red Sox on the 8th of July at Boston. He also had 12 strikeouts, a season high, against Cincinnati during interleague play. There's a slider. He hasn't thrown many sliders, but when he does, they're in a good spot. And the process continues for Dwayne Murphy. The development of young players.
I like that he is out there talking to him.
Well, you know, the role of a hitting coach, you are a technician first of all, a mechanic secondly, and a psychologist probably most importantly.
And he's had a lot of guys to work with. And they'll go back to the drawing board and work on it again tomorrow.
Davis chase back to second. Omar Vizquel has come on deck for Yunel Escobar, and Escobar was hit by a pitch twice this afternoon. Breaking ball on the outside corner. So that's not good news for the Blue Jays. Escobar got hit once in the shoulder and then once in the back of the left arm. And John Farrell will send a pinch hitter up for Escobar.
Yeah, that left elbow looked like it was exposed a little bit. Nova found it.
There goes Davis. The ball was into it. Couldn't throw to third. Casey McGee was a little bit late getting to the bag, and that allows Rajay Davis to slide in safely. Good throw by Chris Stewart.
Yeah, great play. McGee had to hold his ground at third base with the right-handed hitting it. Encarnacion at the plate. Plus, he's playing deep. Rajay Davis looked like he let up just a little bit, and then realized that the throw was on the way and McGee was going to be there, and he just beat it.
Good call by James Hoy, the third base umpire. 2-2 to Encarnacion in the dirt. Davis at third with 1 out. Encarnacion has driven in the only Blue Jays run of the day. Had the single to right in the 4th. Omar Vizquel off the bench, standing on deck. Fair ball off the glove of McGee. Long throw, not in time. Should be a base hit and an RBI for Encarnacion. His second of each. Drives in Rajai Davis for a second time.
Brings Joe Girardi to the mound. First the hit. Encarnacion knew exactly what Nova was going to do. McGee gets over there, clanks off of his glove, picks it up. No chance to get Encarnacion. Right off the glove, off the diamond. Encarnacion beats it out. Infield single, second RBI of the afternoon, and it knocks Ivan Nova out of the ball game.
Nova will go 7 1/3. He is responsible for the base runner at first base. He allows just 5 hits for the Blue Jays. He'll turn things over to David Robertson in the Yankee bullpen. Just 5 hits. He had 10 strikeouts this afternoon. Pitched a very good ball game, and the Yankees have supported him with 5 runs, so he's in line for the win. You'll look to David Robertson to finish things off here in the 8th.
Good curveball and good command. Now David Robertson, who the Blue Jays saw yesterday for an inning. Robertson pitched the 8th inning and had a walk and a ground ball double play. And another out. Good numbers for him. He's got a good fastball, an excellent curveball, and his cut fastball looks like a late-breaking Mariano Rivera type of cut fastball. Also, it's been very tough on both left-handers and right-handers.
Omar Vizquel will come off the bench and serve as the pinch hitter. He's batting for Yunel Escobar. Escobar was hit by Nova in each of his last 2 at-bats, and the hit by pitch in the 6th caught him on the back of the left arm. Vizquel was 0 for 2 last night as a starter.
Bautista acting as another hitting coach, saying, all right, this is what you're going to get from Robertson.
Vizquel goes after the first pitch. Cano to second, to Nix for 1. Back to first. Double play. Well, what a good job by Robinson Cano and Jason Nix. Cano gave Nix a good feed, and Nix unloaded in a hurry, and that's how the 8th inning comes to an end. Robinson Cano to Jason Nix, the off-balance throw in time to close it out. 17th, the Blue Jays will take on the Rangers at 7:07 p.m. Come on down early and enjoy the pregame festivities happening outside of Gate 10. It all starts at 4:30 p.m. There's a licensed area, live music, and fun interactive games. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234, or you can log on to BlueJays.com. Summer Fan Fridays, always a popular event here at Rogers Center on Friday nights.
Brandon Lyon into the ball game for the Blue Jays, the fourth pitcher to work this afternoon. He has pitched in 7 games for the Blue Jays since they acquired him from Houston. 8 innings. He's only given up 5 hits. Over those 8 innings, he struck out 16 batters. Shows a very good sinker, slider, curveball, a little bit of everything for Brandon Lyon out of that bullpen. He's pitched very effectively.
Omar Vizquel came into the ballgame as a pinch hitter for the shortstop, Yunel Escobar. He takes over defensively at third. And Adani Hechavarria, for the first time since he's come to the big leagues, plays shortstop. That is his position. He says he was signed as a shortstop, and the plan is for him to eventually be the shortstop. Hopefully Yunel Escobar is okay. Got hit hard twice this afternoon. Derek Jeter, 2 hits this afternoon. Lyon and Jeter, they faced each other quite a bit. Derek Jeter is just 2 for 11 against Brandon Lyon. Lyon, of course, started his career here with the Blue Jays as a starter. He pitched for the Red Sox. He spent a lot of time with the Tigers.
Had some good years wherever they pitched him.
The breaking ball fooled him, and Jeter got it off the end of the bat.
As a starter, as a setup man, as a long man, as a closer.
Lyon is working in his 8th game with the Blue Jays, and he's done a good job. Just 8 innings of work. He has 16 strikeouts. And that's what the Blue Jays wanted back into their bullpen. They wanted some strikeouts. They didn't have many strikeout arms.
Well, he does it a little bit differently than some of the power arms that we have seen from the Blue Jays, like the Delabars and the Casey Jansens and the Brad Lincoln. He does it by smarts and using all 4 of his pitches. Got a little bit better sinker. Now that he has come over here, and a very good curveball.
Breaking ball. Vizquel at third. It's tested. Goes out Jeter. Vizquel started the ball game last night at third base. Nick Swisher. Swisher batting left-handed for the first time. That's the first pitch strike.
That's a sinker right there, a little bit better. Changed the grip on a little bit more, and he got a nice downward movement with it.
Good slider right in on the hands of Swisher and fooled him. With a flat breaking ball.
And after the first 2 went down and away, crosses them up. Smart. Bit around. And got a few pitches that he can use.
And there's another strikeout for Brandon Lyon. Holmes with the tag. Swisher strikes out for a second time this afternoon.
A little bit out of whack for Nick Swisher. That time a curveball gets him. You can see the head fly open just a little bit.
The Blue Jays bullpen has retired all 9 batters they've faced. A little bit different effort for the bullpen this afternoon. Last night, the Yankees scored 7 runs on 8 hits against the bullpen in the last 2 innings. That was Steve Delabar, David Carpenter, and Brad Lincoln. Lincoln was victimized by that ball that got lost in the lights off the bat of Ichiro Suzuki in the 9th inning. It cost the Blue Jays a couple of runs.
Twice, Kelly Johnson and the Rajay Davis ball to left field. A couple of bloops and a blast in that inning.
Shift is on for Teixeira. Rafael Soriano, the closer for the Yankees, loosening up. Had Scher out in front, and Lyon is in the cap 2-1. Brandon Lyon with that strikeout of Swisher now has 17 strikeouts. He has yet to walk a batter.
That is his forte, isn't it? Throw a lot of strikes. Blue Jays have a little bit more depth in their bullpen and guys who can do different things. We were talking about the power that they have. They've also got guys who throw strikes and can give you multiple innings.
Lyon is on the final year of a 3-year contract. He signed as a free agent with the Houston Astros. I believe it's for about $5.5 million. It should be a nice piece for John Farrell's bullpen next year, but he's got the option of filing and signing with someone else as a free agent.
I'm sure they'll make the attempt. Hopefully he will come back here because he is a valuable guy to have. He's been around. He can help some of these young arms.
Scher lays off that fastball up and away, and there's the first walk issued by Brandon Lyon since he's joined the Blue Jays. Robinson Cano has been silenced this afternoon. He's 0 for 3 with a walk. Teixeira's been on base. He's grounded out twice to third, singled, and walked twice. Back and forth. Lyon always presents challenge to hitters in that never the same spot, never the same pitch, and certainly never the same velocity.
And that's the element of surprise that he has. Robinson Cano, I think, is a great hitter. If you're catching, how do you get this guy out?
I think the one area where we have seen you can get him to chase up and in. He'll chase that pitch, tries to get to it. But anything low, he's deadly on. And you just have to continue to make sure you don't fall into patterns with it.
In and out too low. Doesn't matter. If it's down and in, he can turn on it. Down and away, he can hit it the other way.
Well, Gomes went out to talk things over with Lyon, who gets set for this pitch. 0-2 pitch to Cano. Tried to catch the back door with that breaking ball.
Not a bad idea to try and get him to drift a little bit towards the pitch. Get that lower half moving just a little bit.
And what Lyon does when he gets 2 strikes, he throws that strike to ball breaking ball. It's in the zone, but when it gets into the hitting zone, it's out of the zone. Comes right in and catches Cano looking for a breaking ball. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Brandon Lyon. He strands a runner at first. Blue Jays will go to the bottom of the 9th. Lyon with another good inning of work. Blue Jays trail by 3. The closer, Alfonso Soriano, comes into the ballgame. He's 27 for 29 in save opportunities, and Soriano strikeouts are huge in his game plan. 9.13 strikeouts per 9 innings, and he will deal with David Cooper, who starts off the night.
Rafael Soriano was setting up Mariano Rivera when Rivera tore up his knee when they were in Kansas City the first part of May. And since that time, you mentioned the 27 saves. That's the second most in the major leagues over that stretch. Just 5 runs over his last 35 appearances. He's a bulldog. He can come right after you with a fastball. He's got a great breaking ball, and he can change speeds with it.
Ichiro Suzuki comes off the bench and takes over defensively for Andrew Jones. Take one 10-time Gold Glover out and put another one in. David Cooper lays off that high fastball.
Well, it's the 9th inning, so David Cooper's going to get a hit. He has been doing it all on the road trip, coming up with some big hits in the 9th inning for the Blue Jays.
Had a 9th inning hit in last night's game. Cooper had a 9th inning double on Thursday afternoon, and he had a 9th inning home run on Wednesday.
He had a huge home run in the 9th inning in Oakland. Crushed it to right center field in that ballpark.
That was Saturday, and tied up the game 1-1 with 1 out in the 9th. It's outside. 3-1 right here. He needs to get on base. Soriano picked up the save on Thursday. The Yankees beat the Tigers. He pitched an inning and a third, gave up a couple hits, and picked up the save. Cooper pops this one to left field. Ichiro Suzuki is there, makes the catch. 1 down. Right fielder Moises Sierra 0 for 3 with a strikeout.
How nice is that? That the Yankees lose the best closer of all time, Mariano Rivera, and you've got Soriano sitting there. He had 45 saves one year, and he was with Tampa.
Well, it continues that theme we've talked about all afternoon. The Yankees have the deep pockets, so they can afford to have players that are redundant. You have a closer like Soriano setting up for maybe the best closer in the history of the game. And then Rivera goes down in May. Soriano steps right in.
And you sign him as a setup man, but you give him closer money because you can afford to do that. And nobody could foresee that Mariano Rivera was going to get hurt. The guy never gets hurt.
And Rivera continues to talk about pitching again
this year. He said as soon as he got hurt, he said, I'll be back in September.
It's here with a 2-2 count. Fastball, and Sierra strikes out. It's the 11th strikeout of the day for the Blue Jays. Ivan Nova struck out 10, and now Soriano picks up a strikeout.
He has the ability to reach back when he needs it. You mentioned that save he had in Detroit before the Yankees came here to Toronto to play the Blue Jays. He got the first guy on in the 9th inning, was able to reach back and throw a little bit harder to pick up that save.
Kelly Johnson trying to keep the Blue Jays' hopes alive. Kelly's got 1 for 3 this afternoon. Soriano started his career with the Seattle Mariners. He signed as a non-drafted free agent in '96. Made it to the big leagues as a starter in 2002. And then spent parts of 4 seasons with Seattle before he went to Atlanta. The season you had talked about, Pat, came with Tampa Bay. He had 45 saves in 64 games with the Rays in 2010, and he took that and parlayed it into a nice 3-year contract with the Yankees.
He came up with that Seattle team back in the day when everybody that came out of their farm system threw hard. Their bullpen was stuffed full of hard-throwing pitchers.
Three and one.
J.J. Putz came up about that time, and Soriano.
Ground ball. Ball game over. Yankees have won the first 2 games here at Rogers Center. Soriano picks up his 28th save, and the Yankees took advantage of a big 4th inning off Aaron Laffey. A 3-run home run by Casey McGee, really the difference in this ballgame.
Yeah, it certainly was that 3-run home run. The Yankees do it. They get the big base hit when they have to, and for the Blue Jays, the theme, they just cannot put hits together and come up with the big base hit when they need it.
New York picks the first 2 games. We'll be back for the series finale tomorrow. Stay tuned. Blue Jays Central coming right up. Hazel May, Greg Zahn.